Hey guys, what's up? Grim Machine Sam back with another video, and today we have our first video of, first episode of franchise. Now, I don't want to put the name of the team in the title, and I don't want to start right off rip just on the screen of the franchise. So we're going to hop in, and I will let you guys know who we pick. I just realized that, I'll cut this. So looking through a lot of the teams kind of don't need to be rebuilt. I think there's a lot less teams that need rebuilt or are in a situation where it kind of doesn't really need a rebuild. There might be some bad teams, don't get me wrong, but some of the situations they're in aren't super depressing, right? The Bears are going to hopefully be on the upswing with Justin Fields and Ben Johnson. Bengals are looking to get back in the playoffs. Bills are contenders. Broncos looking to go back to the playoffs, so same thing with the Chargers. Cardinals, I think they're one of the not greatest rosters, but with Baker Mayfield, I'm not Baker Mayfield. With Kyler Murray and company, I think they're okay, especially in my opinion, a weaker division, right? San Fran has to stay healthy. Seahawks are kind of still a question mark, even though I think their team is relatively talented. And then, of course, the Rams, it all hinges on Matt Stafford's health. The Bucks, Baker Mayfield coming off of his best year. The Browns are a serious contender for the franchise, but I think a lot of people are doing them because of the quarterback situation, so I just don't feel like doing them. Kansas City Chiefs, of course, coming off of a Super Bowl loss. They don't need rebuilt. Colts were one, but I think their team's relatively strong, just being fair and honest. I think they got 4 good weapons at receiver. They got a good running back. They got, decent enough tight ends, especially with drafting Tyler Warren. I think their offensive line's pretty good and kind of slept on. Like Quentin Nelson just recently talked about to the media, it's kind of hard for them to gel when they don't have a stable quarterback back there. Commanders coming off the playoffs, also coming off of an NFC Championship appearance. Cowboys was health last year. San Fran, same deal, health. Falcons, I don't love their defense, just being 100% honest. I like Jesse Bates. I like A.J. Terrell. I like the 2 edge rushers they drafted, but there's still a lot of question marks on that team. The offense, on the other hand, I think is very, very talented. I think Kyle Pitts. I don't think it's necessarily Kyle Pitts. I think it's a scheme thing for the first couple of years of his career, and then I think it's just quarterback play as well. So depending on how they can handle the quarterback situation, I think they'll have a pretty easy time. Bijan Robinson's awesome. Eagles, Super Bowl winners, no reason to rebuild them. Dolphins, I think they're in a good spot for the most part if Tua can stay healthy and the rest of the team can stay healthy. Now, granted, their weak spots on this team are very weak. Super bad, right? Their offensive line is a very big question mark. Granted, they don't have to hold up very long because of how fast the ball gets out, but they were a serious contender. Giants are also a serious contender, but that defense I really, really like. I think the secondary, if it can continue to develop with all those young pieces, they'll be in good shape. That front, group, that front D line, very, very talented. Probably going to be one of the better pass rushing units in the league. Linebackers aren't bad with Okereke and I think McFadden. I think they have a good situation going. But their offense is still a big question mark. But I don't like taking first-year quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round, so they're kind of out. Jaguars are another one that's kind of interesting. Would be a fun storyline with Travis Hunter, but with him not receiving both his defensive and offensive stats at the same time. I think if you switch his position, you'll see his stats, but he can't win both awards, and both his stats don't track, and you can't check them. You'd have to continuously switch him back to corner and receiver to check his stats. I think it would be a fun thing, because you could be like, we're not going to keep Trevor Lawrence. We're going to get rid of him and restart the rebuild a little bit. I think the defensive line's pretty underrated. I think their linebacking core is pretty good. Defensive back room, I don't love. Receivers, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, pretty good. Tight ends, a question mark with letting Evan Ingram walk. Running back room, still a big kind of hit or miss with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. Jets, I think would be fun. Probably one of the better teams, probably one of the better candidates for a rebuild, but Justin Fields, I just don't feel like doing it. Lions, no. Health for their defense was one thing. Getting as far as they did in the playoffs was pretty impressive. Coming off of a very good record, 15-2. Dan Campbell's a good coach. Biggest question mark is, of course, the health of the defense, as well as how the coordinators will respond now that they have 2 new ones. Raiders were also a serious contender, especially with Geno Smith being on the older side. Ashton Genty would be fun to play with. Brock Bowers would be fun to play with. Not a great receiving room, just no top-end talent. I feel like they don't have a ton of depth either. I think what they have is what they have. But overall, I don't think it's a terrible unit. They got a very good and deep O-line, especially at the interior position. They just drafted even 2 more guys that look pretty promising. So Not going to be the team, though. New England Patriots, Drake May, second year, looking to get on the upswing with Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels coming back to town. I think they would be a good candidate, but I don't really want to go with them because Drake May looks like the future. I kind of want to draft a QB anyway. Panthers, same thing with Bryce Young. They were looking better towards the end of the season. Good contender, but I just don't feel like going with them. Green Bay Packers, coming off the playoffs. Rams, I think it's more health and their, because of their age. I think that defense is on the upswing. I think if they can find a couple more pieces that they can really plug and play, I think they'll be in a good situation. Ravens, no. Super Bowl contenders. Saints is another very popular answer because of Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. I know a lot of people are going with them because of the quarterback situation, as well as a couple big YouTubers are going with them, so I don't really feel like trying to compete for views on that one. Seahawks, I like their roster. I really do. I don't love Sam Darnold, but Jalen Milroe's cool. Their running back room's pretty talented. I like all three of their running backs. I'm actually doing an offline franchise with them, so obviously not going to be them. Vikings, really biggest question mark is the quarterback play at this point. Their whole team's talented. I'm just being real. And it sucks being a Bears fan because all three fucking other NFC North teams are very talented, so it's going to be a tough road. And it sucks to admit that, but they are very talented. They're a very good unit. I think Brian Flores is one of the better D coordinators, probably top 5 at minimum. I think the team's very good. Not a whole ton to rebuild there. Titans, Cam Ward, don't really want to go with them. We did them 2 years ago. Not doing them this year. Didn't do a team last year, of course, but not going to do them. I think, rule kind of applies with, don't want to do a first-year quarterback, especially that's in the first round, as well as did them 2 years ago. Don't feel like doing them again. A lot of the same storylines. Not a whole ton has changed with them. Texans, good, talented roster. Offensive line plays questionable. Running back health is going to be a big question mark as well as wide receiver health at this point. But overall, still a very good roster. Missing some pieces here and there that they could definitely upgrade in. But overall, good roster. No reason to rebuild them. Steelers, another team that has a very good roster. Quarterback plays questionable. Offensive line still needs to develop. But overall, not a bad unit. I think they got talent all over the field. I think they just need to go put it all together. Biggest question marks, like I said, quarterback as well as probably safety and offensive line. I think this is a very good roster. I think it would be too easy to rebuild. So as of right now, we're not going with them. So I kind of left 2 or 3 teams really open that I purposely did not say that we weren't going to go with. And one of them is the Dolphins. Now, before we get into things, I want to make this 100% clear, right? This storyline is something that got brought up last year. I'm not going to say that I want this to happen, that it's going to happen, none of that. I want to make that 100% clear. But the way this storyline is going to work is Tua has suffered another concussion at the end of the preseason. Mike McDaniels has been fired for his negligence or whatever you want to say. He feels guilty for putting Tua back out there, and he just doesn't want to do it anymore. So he has stepped down. He has been fired, whatever you want to go with in that storyline. So we are taking over as Sam Green, going in and rebuilding the Dolphins. Now, with that, Tua is medically retiring, and we're going to cut him. That is number 1. Number 2 is we got to trade off a couple pieces because they are older pieces and have stated that they want to compete. Tyreek Hill, Darren Waller, stuff like that, as well as some expiring contracts, stuff like that. But overall, it's going to make for a fun experience. Now, I did go ahead and simulate the preseason. I did training camp, all that fun stuff. So we are at that point. So we got to make some trades, and then we'll go ahead and hop in and get things underway. We're not playing the first season, too, by the way. We're going to sim the first season, and then we will get into the off season in the second video. And then episode 3 will be our first game of the second season, our first playthrough, right? This isn't going to be really our team, so we're just going to pretend like, not really our thing. Going to go in, get started next year in the off season, and hit it hard. So with that being said, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to free agency. This happened at Oliver's here, okay? I'm actually going to sign him. I know we have Zach Zeller. I know we have Kenneth Grant. I know we have Jordan Phillips, but I want a 4th guy. Ed Oliver is that guy. I think that would help us out a lot, so we're going to sign him. Just looking through the rest of the teams, we're going to need a veteran quarterback at this point. Somebody with a mentor badge as well. So we're going to sign Joe Flacco as well. The Browns decided to get rid of him, which I can understand. He has the least money owed on his contract in terms of just like penalty for Madden, so he's going to get cut. Running back, There are a couple guys I like. I like Dameon Pierce, but at this point, I don't think I can sign him just because I only plan on running with 3 running backs anyway, so it would be kind of hard to keep him. Keaton Mitchell is there on practice squad, by the way, so if we need to go get a speedster at some point, we definitely can. Looking at the receiving room, receivers, I'm not seeing a ton of talent that I'm like 100% interested in. I was potentially going to pick up Gabe Davis, but he is already gone, so at this point, I'm not too worried about going and getting him. Yeah, not a ton of young talent that I would like to go after, just being 100% fair and honest about that. So I think we'll skip out on some receivers for now. Tight ends, I might have to look at, depending on what we do with Darren Waller and who we trade for at this point, because Isaiah Likely has already been moved, which is unfortunate. I was planning on going after him, but with him being moved, not a whole ton of options left. Kenyon Green is here, so we're going to sign him. Good young depth, still 24, can still develop. I know in real life he's probably just about done, probably going to be on practice squad for a good chunk of the rest of his career, potentially back and forth on active rosters, but as of right now, we're going to bring him in. Matt Pryor's an interesting choice, but I think our guards are good enough where we don't need to bring in a veteran. I think it would be more young guys and see if we can sign them long term and ultimately get them under contract for years to come. Edge rusher, not really looking at. We had to add Matthew Judon to our team as well, so unfortunately another edge rusher spot's taken up. Don't need a 50 tackle. I think we'll be fine with the 4 that we have. Michael Hoyt is always a fun option because he is 6'4", 267. He's kind of that tweener, and then with 84 speed, he was up near like the 300-pound mark. Rams moved him to the edge. Recently signed with the Bills this last offseason, but looks like the Bills don't want to keep him at this point. Sam backer is empty because not a ton of teams run 3 backers. Christian fucking Harris. Oh fuck. And Troy Anderson. Man, y'all really want me to sign somebody. I'm signing Christian Harris. Speed, youth, just makes a ton of sense for us. I'm going to sign him. I don't love our linebacking core at this point. Channing Tittle's cool, but he's I think almost a year and a half older than Christian Harris, so I think that will work out. Asante Samuel's still here. I know he's dealing with some injury stuff as well as just I know he's a little handsy and stuff, but our cornerback room is so weak right now. Our leaders are Mike Hilton and fucking Kader Kohu. Okay, we got to get some money off the book before we sign him. But overall, I think we're in a good spot. Safety, I'm not too worried about at this point. I think we got some good young depth. We got Minka, we got Ashton Davis, we got Melifanu, and then we got Trader. So I think we're fine there. Isaiah Simmons is cool, but I don't want to cheese it a little bit. I think he'd be too easy to bring in and develop, even at the age that he's at. So we do need to start getting rid of players. That is a big thing. So I'm going to go find some trade offers. And a lot of them aren't going to be like, who can I get the best trade offer from? Like guys like Darren Waller and especially Tyreek, those guys are going to get sent to contenders and get sent to teams that need those positions, because I think that fits the storyline of Tua having to medically retire, these guys wanting out, all that fun stuff. I think that just makes the most sense for us, and I don't want to fuck over them and send them to the Browns just because I can get the most back for them, if that makes any sense. So this is going to be the trade package. I don't want to just completely fleece the teams either. I'm trying to look at recent trade history too. Somebody of Tyreek Hill's caliber rarely ever goes for a first-round pick. He's a very good receiver, don't get me wrong, but his main thing is speed. And once that slowly dissipates, he's not going to be that useful in the NFL. Not saying it will happen anytime soon, or not saying it's going to happen, or wishing it happens. But we need to get trade pieces back. I very much like Luke Musgrave, and I like Dontavian Wicks. I know they still need to progress a little, but overall, I like them. We do need to get some more money off the book, so I'll send Mike Boone over to them as well. But this does it. The 5th and the 7th just makes sense. Just getting rid of a couple extra pieces. I'm not trying to just overall fleece and be like, look, I got all these draft picks, and now we're going to rebuild in 5 seconds, So this makes sense for us. We're going to get rid of Tyreek Hill, send him to a team that I believe is a decent contender. Was going to send him to the Ravens and help out their receiving room a little bit more, but I think their receiving room is a little stronger, as well as Isaiah Likely. One of the main trade pieces that I was going to go after is already gone. So we're going to trade for Luke Musgrave, backup tight end. Get some value, get some draft picks, and actually, you know what? I'm going to make this a 3rd. A little bit more value. And that goes through. So Tyreek Hill heading to the Green Bay Packers to go play up in the frozen tundra with Jordan Love. Next trade is Darren Waller. I kind of want to be realistic about this. I'm going to send him to a decently pass-heavy team in the Washington Commanders. I also wanted to send him to a team where I could get a young, talented tight end in return. And this is just trading draft capital for draft capital, just moving up in the draft. Like I said, I don't want to fleece them. I don't want to be like, whoa, look at all these draft picks I'm getting. I'm getting a second and a third and a fourth for Darren Waller. Like, no, he's coming out of retirement. Is he going to be 100%? I don't know. But this makes sense for us, and we're going to get it done. So Darren Waller heading to the Commanders, and we're getting Ben Sinnott and moving up in both the drafts. Last and final trade is going to be Jalen Phillips going to the Eagles for Jalen Hunt, Kylie Ringo, and Tyler Steen. This just makes a lot of sense for us. We get a guard that can come in, be a backup right away, fill in that spot behind James Daniels, because if whoever our fucking center is, Aaron Brewer goes down, James Daniels can slide to center. He's had center experience, especially with the Bears. He was pretty good with us. And then Tyler Steen can come in. I'd rather have him in over a guy like Brunskill or Liam Eichenberg or even Kenyon Green at this point. He gives us tackle flexibility as well. Kylie Ringo will come in and be our number one corner right away, by the way. And then Jalen Hunt will just be a backup edge rusher, good young developmental piece. If we can get him going, that'd be great. Trading Larry Borum, because Lane Johnson did go down for the year, so we're going to give him up and get some more money off the books. We're going to probably cut him anyway, so that just gets us a little bit more cap room to be able to finish this trade, as well as gets us a little bit more value to where we are able to hopefully get the draft picks. I haven't seen if this will go through, but overall. And then the Eagles get another star edge rusher for a year because he is coming off contract. So it was a mixture of things. It was Jalen Phillips coming off contract with the injury history, plus with Chop Robinson behind him, Mo Kamara, and then we're getting Jalen Hunt, having Bradley Chubb as well as Matthew Judon on the other side. I think it just makes sense. The edge room was looking a little crowded, and so I needed to get rid of some guys. I think this makes the most sense for us, puts us down a path. Gets us a ton of extra draft capital this year, by the way. And if there's any more trades, it'll probably happen at the deadline. If we're going to trade off some of our older veteran guys that are coming off contract or anything like that, that's when we'll do that. But for now, we're going to see how the season goes. Got to make the cuts now and cut down to that 53, as well as get our practice squad set up. So we'll just go down the team. We're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Zach Wilson is one of the better overalls, but Quinn Ewers will probably be the starter going forward. Joe Flacco's just in there for the mentor badge. Tua, we're going to go ahead and cut because, well, he's medically retiring. So that's going to cost a big chunk of change for us, which is not great. But we still have 3 QBs. Hopefully they can figure it out. Alexander Madison's odd man out. I'm not carrying 4 running backs if we're going to keep a fullback. It just makes sense to get rid of him. Unfortunately, I don't love him. I think Ollie Gordon's going to be fine, 21 years old. I think he should do just fine. Jalen Wright and Devon Achane. Going to keep Alec Ingold for now. Washington receiving room, we're going to go Jalen Waddle, Dontavian Wicks, Nick Westbrook-Ikine, Malik Washington, D. Eskridge or Dwayne Eskridge is getting cut, and then Eric Izukanama is getting cut as well, so we'll rock 5 in the receiving room for now. If we see the young talent that we want in the free agency pool, we'll go with it. Pharaoh Brown's not a bad tight end. Ben Sinnott, Luke Musgrave. Jalen Connors I like more than Julian Hill at this point. I'm not planning on keeping Julian Hill on the practice squad for right now, so we'll go ahead and cut him. And then we're going to cut Tanner Connor as well, just being the lowest rated tight end of the group. Just kind of is tough. I got to look at both tackle sets. I want to keep about 9 offensive linemen. So, of course, Patrick Paul is safe. Keon Smith's just not making the team. I'm just going to go ahead and cut him now. Guard, I plan on keeping these 3. So we'll send Josh Preby down to the practice squad. Center, Addison West, we're just going to go ahead and cut. Just not very good. Andrew Meyer, we'll just send down to the practice squad for now. If we got to cut him fully, we will. At right guard, so if we keep Steen and we keep Jonah, that puts us at 5, but Steen gives us tackle flexibility. So he obviously makes the team. Liam Eichenberg, I would like to keep, but already being 27 is just kind of tough. Jackson Carman, I think we're just going to have to get rid of for now as well. If we need to bring some guys back, we can easily bring them back. So that keeps us at 5 guards, 1 center, and 1 tackle. So that puts us already at our 7. So we'll just go ahead and keep Braden Daniels. And then we're going to cut Yanni Cajuste. Being 29, just can't develop at this point. It's kind of tough situation to see him in. Chop Robinson and Mo Kamara are safe, of course, young, talented edge rushers. We're going to keep 5, so Jalix Hunt, Matthew Judon, and Bradley Chubb. Grayson Murphy, I'm not 100% sold on right now, so we'll go ahead and cut him. Quentin Bell, same deal. And then we're going to cut Cameron Good as well. If we need to bring any of these guys back to the practice squad, we will. Unfortunately, practice squad rules have not been updated, so it's hard to keep a lot of those guys. Ed Oliver, Kenneth Grant. Zach Zeiler is currently injured, but we're still going to cut Benito Jones just because. Matthew Butler. Biggers, I'm going to drop to the practice squad. I like him. Matt Dickerson and Matthew Butler will also get cut. Just being fair and honest about that. Willie Gay is going to stay for now. Eugene Asante, we're going to go ahead and send down to the practice squad. 90 speed, I would like to keep around. I do want to keep Tyndall, but like I said, being a little older is kind of tough, and I can't rock with fucking 6 backers. I can only keep 5. I would like to cut down to 4, but I feel like Dotson's too good of an overall to get rid of at this point, so we're going to cut KJ Britt, slowest linebacker of the group. I need speed on this field. We're all about speed on this team. It's going to get rid of him. I do need to make an extra cut to be able to get Asante Samuel as well. Going to keep Kader Kohu, Mike Hilton, Jack Jones, Kylie Ringel. Kendall Sheffield's out, just being the youngest of the group. Well, the lowest overall of that front group is kind of tough. Storm Duck, too low of an overall. I'm not even going to put him on the practice squad. Ethan Bonner we'll put on the practice squad with 92 speed for now. And then Cam Smith, I think, also is getting sent down to the practice squad at this point. I like Jason Marshall. He's probably going to be one of the starters alongside Kylie Ringo. Kader Kohu, I don't know how he's going to fit in, or Jack Jones, Mike Hilton either as well. Elijah Campbell needs to get cut, and we will have to go back into the roster to be able to make the final cuts. Punter, we don't need to. I think Jake Bailey is actually on a 2-year deal. I know Ryan Stonehouse has that superstar, but is it really worth keeping a superstar over a guy that we already have locked up? Probably. I'm going to cut Jake Bailey. I don't really care enough. They probably have similar stats. Ryan Stonehouse has 99 kick power. I'm going to keep him. Patrick McMorris, 87 speed. I don't love it, so we're just going to cut him for now. And if we need to, we'll sign him back to the practice squad. So that does open up 2 roster spots. So we do have a chance to go get Asante Samuel as well as another piece if we need to. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go get Asante Samuel. I know Chibodi Awuzi's there, but already being 30, I'm not looking to win a shit ton of games right now. That's just me being honest at this point. So I'm not super invested in, getting just the best guys. I don't think that really makes a whole ton of sense. So Asante Samuel's going to come in. Wow, we have no fucking money. Oh my god. Yeah, this is not going to be fun. I think safety we're pretty okay at. I don't really need to bring in another player there right now. Marcus Sigel. Ooh, do I steal him? 92 speed on the back end, 23 years old, 69 overall is kind of interesting. I do want to look on practice squad, see if there's anybody worth stealing. I think he would probably be it for the safety room. Trey Taylor's not bad, but 86 speed is fucking terrible. Tyler Owens, pretty good speed, but I would rather have the other guy since he is a little bit better of an overall. Catrell Clark is kind of interesting. Terrell Smith is also very interesting. But Terrell Smith already being 26 is kind of hard. But we did just cut Cam Smith. I think our cornerback room is fine for now. If we need to go after one of those guys later, we can. But as of right now, I think we'll just wait on that. Looking at D-line, there's nobody too interesting that I would want. Offensive line, kind of the same deal. Lower overalls, not really anything too interesting to be fair. Same thing with tight end. Keyshawn Boutte would be the only receiver, but I don't really want to go after him at this point. Running back, Keaton Mitchell's pretty cool, but I can't be holding another running back at this point. Quarterback, I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson would be fun, but I just don't see the value there right now. So just thinking about the team overall, running back, we don't really need a lot of talent. Kevontae Turpin would be fun, especially in this offense, but I don't need him right now, and I do want to get those young guys involved. Tight ends we're fine at. Offensive line we're pretty okay at. like I said, just not really seeing a ton of value. We might just keep this last roster spot open for anything we need off rip. So that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Practice squad eligible. I like Miles Murphy. I'm going to bring him in. If we can keep him on the practice squad and sign him and get that cheap 2-year deal for him, he'll be 24 when he gets that deal. By the time he's out of it, he'll be 26. I think that's a pretty good steal for us. Carson, talking about steal, Carson Steele, I like him. Good power back, 86 speed. I think he would be fun. So we'll sign him to the practice squad as well. Ricky Stromberg might not be bad to sign just because he is 24. 2-year cheap deal, good backup guard, center flexibility. I think he makes sense as well. So we'll go ahead and get him involved. And, of course, we can update the practice squad as we go along through the year. Not seeing anybody else that I'm, like, super, super high on at the moment. Jalen Simpson isn't bad. And then we're going to go ahead and sign Max Duggan if we have a practice squad spot still available. Just because he'll get the development at least through the first year. And if we can keep him, then we would get him on a relatively cheap deal, and he could probably be in the mid-60s by the time we're done. Jake Moody, kind of the same deal. I don't know his kick power off the bat, but I think that would make sense too. Get development for a year. After, the end of the season, if he's still there, then we get him on a cheap 2-year deal, and we can potentially use him and save some money that way as well. But I think I am going to steal this safety, by the way. I do want to see his speed, his size. He's 5'11", 199. Yeah, I'm going to steal him from the 49ers. Speed plus, size. I think it just makes a lot of sense. So we'll steal him as well. And that should just about do it for us. And we should be good to go. I want to go because it doesn't pop up sometimes if you're one over. So yeah, 53 dudes on the roster. I think that leaves us in a very good spot. So now we'll just have to sim the week, and then we'll set up the depth chart and get simming. And then you guys probably will see me at the midway point before the trade deadline, and then that's probably about it. I'll give you guys updates at the mid-season mark as well as the end of the year, and then we'll go over stats and talk about the game plan going into Eagles just stole Ricky Stromberg. Of course they did. And then we'll talk about, everything going forward. So this is what the scouts are looking like. We'll just go to region breakdown real quick. So going quarterback across the nation, not going to be 100% sold on Quinn Ewers unless he proves it. Wide receiver on the West Coast, corner in the Central, corner in the Northeast, and corner in the Southeast. We're going to hit corner, we're going to hit receiver, we're going to hit quarterback. 3 of our probably weaker position groups. I know O-line's kind of a big, kind of a big situation right now. But I trust our development there to get it going. So that handles that. We'll go over the depth chart real quick and we'll order it. So I'm just going to because I was doing training camp stuff, of course, but a lot of it doesn't work anymore. We'll go Quinn Ewers, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson. Running back, we'll just go by overall for the most part. Fullback, we'll go Alec Ingold. Receiver, I'm going to go Dontavian Wicks, Nick Westbrook Akine, Malik Washington, Taj Washington, Ben Sinnott. Tight end, we're gonna go Sinnott, Musgrave, Brown. Tackles, we'll just go by who I think needs to be playing. Gonna go Paul, Steens, Daniels. Guards, we'll go Steen, Green. Center, we'll go Daniels backing up, and then Brunskill backing up as well. Guard will go, of course, Steen and Green again. And then tackle will go Steen and Daniels once again. Just kind of giving Steen the most opportunity. If someone goes down, he'll have the opportunity to hop in and play. I'm going to have Kamara slide up and Hunt. I'm actually going to start Hunt. Fuck it. Who cares? Let's ball, right? Let's fucking ball a little bit. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like I said, I'm not worried about winning games at this current point. I need to get guys developed at this point. I'm going to go Zyler, Grant, Oliver, Phillips, and then Chubb is the biggest, so he'll play 50 tackle. Linebackers, I want Tyndall starting. I don't give a damn. I got to see what he is going into the last year of his deal. So we'll go Tyndall, Gay, and Dotson. Mike will go Brooks, Dotson, Gay, Harris. Kylie Ringo, just because he has the most youth on the team. Then we'll go Kader Kohu. No, we'll go Asante, Kader Kohu, Jack Jones, Mike Hilton. Fuck, I forgot that we have Jason Marshall. Where the fuck is he? So we're actually going to move Jason Marshall up. Kylie Ringo to 2, Asante Samuels to 3, Kader Kohu to 4, Jack Jones to 5. Mike Hilton will play primarily in the slot. Safeties, I'm going to move Sigel up, move Ashton Davis down. I actually want Sigel playing. I know that might be unpopular, but I'm going to actually have him start. We're going to go Sigel at free strong safety, Melifanu and Trader. And I'm going to move Davis up and move Trader into that backup, that third string safety role. Sanders, Stonehouse, long snapper is whatever. Kick and punt returner is just going to be by overall. We're going to give Jason Marshall the returns. If he, for somehow, some way, turns it upfield and gets a touchdown, then he gets extra XP. Stonehouse is going to be on the kickoff unit. A-Chain, Wright, and Gordon. We're going to put Wicks at gadget, as well as Ollie Gordon, and then Jalen Wright. Power back's going to be Gordon. Slot, we're going to throw Waddle in there. And then we'll go Westbrook Akine, and then Malik Washington. Edge rusher, we'll go Chop Robinson, and then we'll go Judon and Chubb. And then we'll go Hunt, Chubb, and Judon on that side. Rush D tackle, I can't move Zyler in right now, but we'll end up doing this just to give some extra reps to Chubb. Nose tackle, we're going to move Grant up to number 1, Jordan Phillips to number 2. Sub backer, we're going to go Harris, Mike Hilton, and then we're going to go Kader Kohu and Jack Jones. And this is how the practice squad is looking going forward. I think we're in a very, very good spot. We'll go ahead and start simming weeks, and if there's anything important pops up, we'll handle it. If not, it's whatever. So at the midseason mark, we are 1-6. I did turn coach firing off, at least for this first season, because I don't want to get fired just because we're in a bad situation. Ed Oliver, I'd be interested in bringing back. Not going to do it right now. Kader Kohu, Asante Samuel, Jack Jones. The rest of the guys, I'm going to be honest, I would have almost no reason to bring back at this point. Whether or not I can get them in free agency cheaper or just whatever. Marquez Sigel, I would like to bring back, but at this point, I just don't want to do it yet. Another guy that I think we would probably wait for free agency at this point. Ed Oliver, I'd love to bring back, but with what our defensive tackle room currently looks like, it would probably be a 1-year deal. And with him not really being loving to stay here, I don't know if I have that opportunity to bring him back right now. So, unfortunately, 1-6, gonna have to deal with it. Hopefully, we can get turn around the second half at least a little bit. So we do have a couple trade offers here. One for Matt Judon. The only one I'm really interested in is either DJ Glaze or Cedric Gray. And I think I'd rather have DJ Glaze. I know we would get a 7th round pick from the Titans. I'm going to take it just because I think it gives us youth at tackle. I like DJ Glaze, so we're going to go ahead and get that done. Slide him into the starting role and just kind of figure things out. We're 1-7. This is not looking up for us. Okay, so Ravens versus Cardinals, 14-9. Wow, what a Super Bowl. We went 6-11. Much better second half, by the way. Much better second half, considering we were 1-8. So going 5-3 in our last 8 games is kind of crazy, or 4-3, I guess, or 4-4 or something like that. But still, decent turnaround. Granted, that means we're not going to have that high of a pick. Just being 100% fair and honest about that. We're going to have some stuff to take care of in the next video. I'll go ahead and sim to the next week so we can see re-sign players, so we can talk about that a little bit before we get out of here. And we'll talk about stats, stuff like that. But players ready to re-sign. 18 players. I would assume Joe Flacco retired. So Ed Oliver, Kader Kohu, Asante Samuel, Jack Jones. Rico I signed because Ollie Gordon went down. So I need another power back. So signed him. The only other addition I will say that I kind of added was, where is he? Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Quinn Ewers went down with 2 games left of the season. Yeah, so that was great. He had no injury history and then just fucking died. So that was fun. So yeah, that's great. We'll have to handle a lot of stuff, coaching upgrades, stuff like that. We'll look at stats real quick if they're still here. Quinn Ewers, not a good season. 2,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, 16 picks, 60% completion percentage, not great. Running's going to be terrible because we didn't do much. LaQuint Allen was on the practice squad. I don't think he ever saw the field for us. Receiving's not great because because the quarterback play wasn't great. Offensive line's not that great. Sacks, Chop Robinson led the way with 11. Zach Zeiler with 7. Bradley Chubb with 6. Jalen Hunt, Ed Oliver both with 4.5. Well, Hunt with 5. I'm not going to look too deep into these stats. 15 for 16 for Jason Sanders, 32 for 32. Good year for him. Ryan Stonehouse looks like he did his job. Not a whole ton of kick and punt returns. Depth chart got reordered, by the way, halfway through the seasons when I did auto upgrades, and that was not great because I had to go back in, and I did not find that out until later. So, yeah, not great. Better season than I thought we were going to have, just being 100% fair and honest. And looking at the NFL standings, we will, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll be drafting 8. So we're going to have to trade up if we want a quarterback probably, which is not great because that means we got to spend capital to get there. Or we got to trade away pieces that are going to be on expiring contracts next year, or just trade off pieces that we can relatively replace. So it's going to be an interesting time. We'll handle the offseason, all that fun stuff. A little bit shorter of a video, but overall not too terrible. And then we'll go ahead and get the season 2 started. But yeah, not completely terrible. Going 6-11, we started winning games a lot near the end of the season. At one point, I'm like, please, can we stop fucking winning? We just fell out of the number 1 spot for the draft, and we did. So yeah, we'll have some stuff to figure out going forward. But overall, not a bad year. Added a couple different pieces to the practice squad, so you'll see a couple extra guys on the team. But overall, not bad. We got improved, and we gotta go be better. The defense didn't look too bad. They were middle of the road for both yards, passing and rushing. They led up to 26 most points. We had a decent run game apparently at 19, but then pass yards and points scored are both 29th. So it'll be an interesting time. We definitely got to go get a quarterback. We definitely got to get some more weapons for the quarterback as well. I think running game solid. I think I like the running back group that we have, especially with LaQuint Allen coming in. Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, and Devon Achane coming back as well are all exciting. I think we have a good group of guys. Tight end still an issue. Offensive line still an issue. Defensive line's pretty much set in stone. We'll probably have to add a couple pieces here and there if necessary. If we don't bring back, of course, Ed Oliver, or if we move Bradley Chubb as well. Linebacking core, I'm not 100% sold on. Most of them I think are coming off contract anyway, so we'll have to replace a lot of those guys. Cornerback room still very weak. And then we'll probably have to add another safety if we don't bring back Sigel or one of the other pieces that we really like. But overall, better season than probably what I was hoping for. I was hoping to be in that 4 to 3 win range. Ended up with 6. Not too terrible. Coaching firing will be on next season as I will be playing the games. But, hopefully we can win a little bit more than 6 games. Hopefully we can improve and potentially start this rebuild off right. But that's episode 1 for Dolphins franchise. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.